Today we're taking a look at a beautiful chronograph from Nevada Grenchen. This is a very underrated release that didn't get a lot of coverage last year. I'm not sure why. I have one hands-on to show you guys. It is the Chrono Sport. The dial on this watch and how it's laid out is just amazing. And there's a few different reasons why this is a very special release from the brand that really went under the radar, did not get a lot of fanfare, and I really do believe it deserves it. So let's take a hands-on look at one of the most underrated releases from last year, the Chrono Sport from Nevada Grenchen. This is definitely one of the better looking chronograph releases of 2024. This is the Chrono Sport from Nevada Grenchen, and this is a very interesting looking chronograph. It's powered by a Valjoux movement. So I want to start off by saying that because usually recently when I've been reviewing watches, if they are chronographs, if they're mechanical and they're Swiss made, they feature a Sellita movement. They are using a Valjoux movement inside this watch, and it's really nicely sized. So it's not a big watch. It's not really incredibly thick either, which is kind of cool as well. But the fact that they're using a Valjoux movement means that they're putting a little bit of extra into it, because now Valjoux movements are more rare than a Sellita movement. You see Sellita movements more often. This is a revival of a 1970s chronograph. You see vintage versions of these in the wild from time to time, and they are pretty expensive on the secondary market, on the vintage market. It gets 200 meters of water resistance. So this is technically a diving chronograph. You are getting a bi-directional bezel. It is an aluminum bezel that is DLC coated. So it's a fully black bezel, but you'll see that it's actually sunken into the case. It's pretty grippy and very easy to use, but the case itself has a carved out area, so it sits into the case. It really looks good, and it's in keeping with what the original design was. Speaking of design, the dial here was designed by Gene Singer. If you don't know who Gene Singer was, he was a designer who designed some pretty incredible dials, including dials for Heuer and Omega. The Heuer Skipper was designed by Gene. Also, the Omega Speedmaster Racing Edition, that racing dial with the checkered flag that goes all the way around the dial, he designed that dial. He also designed this dial, which is a very distinct looking dial. You have these two registers at the 9 o'clock position, at the 12 o'clock position, and you don't have one at the 6 o'clock position. So normally with the Valjoux movement, you would have a register down at the 6 o'clock. You don't get that with this. You also get a really beautiful grainy dial. I'm not sure if the originals had grainy dials, but they put grainy dials on these, so it's a sand textured dial. I love that. Down at the bottom of the dial where that register would normally be, it just gives you the depth rating in red. So it's in a big, bold red font. Right below that, it says 25 joules, and below that, Inca block. Above the hand stack, below that 6 o'clock register, it says Nevada. That's really it. Then you have the date at the 3 o'clock, because of course this is a Valjoux 7750, so it has a date, and they have the date at the 3 o'clock. You get stick hands, and then you get a needle seconds hand. It's really almost like a wedge seconds hand, but I would say it's a needle, and that is in white. I'm not sure if that's lumed or not. I believe it is not, because it's in white. All the lume on this dial is in a creamy color, so I'm pretty sure that that is not lumed. The sub-registers are in a dark cream color. I would almost say it's a brown, but it's not. I would say it's more of a cream color. And then you have that matte dial. It's a matte black dial. Along with those indices, you have these little dots of creamy lume as well. And then the hands are filled with creamy lume as well. So it all matches really well. The bezel, the dial, everything looks really good together. Then you have a very high boxed sapphire crystal that looks extremely vintage. And when you turn it on its side, you can see it just looks really good. You have a screwed-in crown, a screwed-in case back, and 200 meters of water resistance. They do offer this on a bracelet. I wish I got this on a bracelet, because the bracelet on here is pretty awesome. It looks like an integrated bracelet, but it's not. You can put any strap that you want on the watch. Right now I have this on a perforated black leather, cav leather strap from Nevada Grenchen. I really love the straps that they make. They give you a ton of variety. I think it's like 16 different straps and bracelets. So when you buy your watch, you could choose from a variety of different bracelets and straps if you want to. If you don't, you could just get the bracelet, the standard bracelet that they make specifically for this watch. And then you could put any aftermarket strap that you want because obviously they do fit. The thing that Nevada Grenchen do really well is keep their watches true to the original size of the watch that they are reviving or reissuing. So this watch is a 38 millimeter watch. It is around 14.9 millimeters thick. That's including the boxed sapphire crystal, which is literally almost 1.5 millimeters in and of itself. So this is not an incredibly thick watch considering it's a Valjoux 7750 inside. I think that's actually pretty good. And the lug to lug is a very short 44.4 millimeters. Today on my wrist, I have another Nevada Grenchen. This is a watch that looks like it was basically made around the same time as the chronograph that we're looking at today. This one gets another really high boxed. This one is an acrylic crystal. I believe it's a Hesalite, which looks phenomenal on this watch. This is their GMT. It's the Antarctic GMT. Just a really good looking watch with a bi-directional inner rotating bezel. Very, very cool watch, powered by a Soprod movement. This one is on the brown Raleigh leather strap. And there it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. This is just a good looking watch. Also, the case is really nicely finished. I'll throw up a picture of the side of the case. It's somewhat of a slab-sided watch. However, you have this very thick line of polish on either side of the case. It looks great, and of course, it feels great. Nevada Grenchen make excellent watches, and this is just really, really nice. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. You can see it does not look thick on my wrist. You have a lot of crystal there, so that is a good portion of the thickness of this watch. And you get that bi-directional bezel, which is really easy to turn, as you can see, because it's just really grippy, it's fluted, and it feels really good in hand. Everything here looks and feels really good. And there is the Lume shot. Lume on here, pretty good. It's not incredible, but you do have a very small dial. This is not a large watch, so there's not a lot of real estate for Lume. Obviously, the indices are somewhat cut off by the sub-registers of the chronograph, so you're not getting a 9 o'clock, you're not getting a 12 o'clock Lume plop, so there's no Lume there at all. You do have a little bit of Lume in the bezel. There is no Lume on any running seconds, so I would love to see that in the future, but other than that, I think this is just a great looking watch. And when you think about who designed this dial, the original dials for the vintage versions, but this is basically a 1-for-1 to those dials. It's actually designed by someone who made some really incredible watches, the Hoyer Skipper, and of course the Omega Speedmaster racing dial. One of the coolest dial. I have one. I have a racing dial version of the Speedmaster. I love that watch, and the fact that this dial was designed by that person is pretty damn cool. Price on this is $2,180 as you see it. If you want the bracelet, add $200 to that price. I highly recommend getting it on the bracelet. However, the straps are awesome from Nevada Grenchen, and there is plenty of variety. So if you don't like a bracelet, the straps are fantastic, and this watch looks really good on a strap. It looks just as good as it does on the strap as it does on the bracelet. I just think this is a very good looking watch. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the fact that the dial was designed by Gene Singer? I think that's pretty cool. And the watches that were designed, or the dials that were designed by him, are pretty awesome. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. I'll put a link to this watch down in the description below. If you're interested, definitely check out their website. check out this watch. Check out the other watch, the GMT that I have on. They're awesome watches and are really good looking watches that are very well made. Check them out on their website. I'll put a link down in the description. Thanks for watching this. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys in the next video.